I'm Marty Stauffer. Which of our states has the prettiest women, the toughest cowboys, and the widest wide open spaces? Opinions may differ, but not among Texans. Almost any resident of the Lone Star State would claim that Texas has the largest and best of just about everything, including storytellers. Be that as it may, Texas is the largest of the nation's lower 48 states. And it does have our greatest variety of wildlife habitat, from the desert mountains of West Texas to the pine forests in the east, and from the flat plains of the northern panhandle to the marshlands of the Gulf Coast. This amazing diversity of landscape can be divided into 6 major areas: desert, hill country, brush country, open country, forest, and swamp. We all know Texas as the home of the armadillo, but many other kinds of wild creatures can also be found here. Some as common as the chipmunk, others as rare as the golden-cheeked warbler. Y'all come along now, and we'll explore wild Texas. Some of the most spectacular scenery in the state is found near the western boundary of Texas, in the dry desert mountains near the Rio Grande River. Big Bend National Park protects a number of endangered plants and animals. Among them is the colorful Texas madrone, a beautiful tree whose seedlings no longer survive in the wild. The once abundant white-winged dove finds refuge in the park, while its statewide population dwindles each year. The mountains of the Trans-Pecos Desert are dry, but the canyon bottoms are lush with life, fed by streams and springs. The barn swallow feeds on a plentiful supply of insects and finds mud with which to build a nest high up under a nearby canyon rim. One of the most striking natives of this region is the Gray Bandit, or Blair's kingsnake. It has a habit of constricting and devouring rattlesnakes, to whose venom it's immune. But to humans, this snake is as harmless as it is handsome. The kingsnakes come together to mate in early spring, when the desert air is sweet with the fragrance of blooming flowers. North of Big Bend, Guadalupe Mountains National Park includes towering El Capitan, and behind it, Guadalupe Peak, the highest point in Texas. The remote Guadalupes are a refuge for some of the wildest animals in Texas, animals who will disappear before they ever learn to live with man. Black bears and bobcats, as well as cougars, are found here, but the cougar is one of the most elusive of all wild animals and is rarely seen. Seeps and springs dot this dry area, making it the ideal place to raise a litter, since the mother does not have to go far to hunt. And for the kittens, it's a natural playground. The mother cougar has little trouble finding a secure and roomy den. The Guadalupes are made of limestone, which readily forms caves. Such caves are another reason why the Guadalupes are an ideal habitat for this great cat. Another creature that makes good use of caves is the Mexican free-tail bat. 4 caves in Texas are known for their huge bat populations. Split by the magnificent gorge of Palo Duro Canyon, the flat, open country of the Texas Panhandle is not entirely flat. But it is open, and it supports its own unique blend of wildlife. The striped skunk is a common resident. Less common is the swift fox, a small, shy canid that lives on insects, scorpions, lizards, and especially rodents. As fast and agile as its name implies, the swift fox is ideally suited to hunt the plains and canyons of open country. It has no enemies but man, for few creatures can outrun it. The skunk, too, has few enemies, but for a different reason. It's interesting to me that not just humans, but almost all animals are repelled by the smell of a skunk. Many animals feed at night, and like these bats, return at dawn to their daytime hiding places. The skies of open country are as important to wildlife as the land. On the Staked Plains are 2 national wildlife refuges, both havens for migrating waterfowl. In winter, the refuge at Muleshoe attracts the country's largest concentration of Sandhill cranes, sometimes 100,000 of them. The canyons and gullies of open country shelter another unusual creature, the reclusive ringtail. The coyote is primarily a scavenger that will eat almost anything, but it's also a clever hunter with a keen nose. It seems impossible that any creature could survive such treatment, but the ringtail is a fighter. Even so, escape is another matter. As small as it is, the ringtail still has sharp little teeth. And as tough as it is, the coyote still has a tender nose. By now it's obvious that the ringtail is not going to be the coyote's next meal. The coyote leaves to hunt easier prey. Its normal diet is smaller mammals and rodents. Safe for now, the ringtail stays close to its den. In spite of this close call, a ringtail can usually find secure shelter in these rocky outcroppings. In central Texas, the hill country of the Edwards Plateau is swept by breezes and softened by cedars. The increasingly rare golden-cheeked warbler is said to nest nowhere else in the world but here. This specialized bird builds its nest of cedar bark. As land is cleared for grazing, the warbler simply disappears. Hill country sparkles with some of the clearest waters in the nation. These streams and springs are sometimes the only habitat of specially evolved fishes. Many clear, warm water springs in this area provide recreational spots for humans. As long as they remain free-flowing and unpolluted, such springs can be shared by wildlife and humans alike. Hill country contains many outcroppings of colorful granite, of which the best known is the Pink Dome of Enchanted Rock. This pink granite was used for the Texas State Capitol at Austin, by far the largest state capitol building in the country. Between the open prairie and the eastern forest lies an unusual area called the Cross Timbers. Grassland has replaced much of what used to be long fingers of forest, reaching north-south into the prairie. Once, the cross timbers were the haunt of deer, black bear, and wild hogs. Now, only birds and small mammals remain. The trees in the cross timbers provide nesting places for many types of birds, while the interspersed grasslands offer a rich diet of insect life. As its name implies, the scissor-tailed flycatcher's primary diet is insects. The female seems to be having trouble, though, convincing her babies that mulberries are also a suitable food. Meanwhile, the male continues to hunt in the fields nearby for their standard fare. With its long, elegantly forked tail, the flycatcher is the ultimate in grace on the wing. The tail opens in flight like a pair of scissors, providing perfect balance in motion. Both male and female take turns feeding the young, folding their tails as they perch at the nest. During courtship, the male performs a breathtaking sky dance, tumbling and somersaulting from 100 feet in the air. With young already in the nest, their dance is more subdued, yet still an aerial ballet. "200 years ago, a squirrel could have traveled all the way from the Atlantic Ocean to the forests of East Texas without ever touching the ground. In Mississippi and Alabama, much of that original forest is gone. But in the big thicket and the piney woods of East Texas, wildlife still interacts in timeless ways. The fox squirrel shares this area of oak hickory habitat with a colony of honeybees. The forest floor is home for another small mammal, the eastern cottontail rabbit. Though these two animals are similar in size, they do not compete. The cottontail eats primarily green vegetation, while the fox squirrel comes to the ground to search for nuts. Much of this pine and hardwood forest is now grown for harvest, but in some areas, old growth is preserved. The combination of old and new forest land ensures habitat for the great variety of plants and animals essential to any healthy ecosystem. East Texas is as wet as West Texas is dry. Toward the Gulf Coast, forest gives way to cypress swamp. The armadillo's expanding range includes most of Texas, but it thrives especially well in these wetlands. The odd-looking armadillo is a master of survival. Its flesh is tender and tasty, but its tough, leathery shell proves impenetrable, even to the powerful jaws of this young cougar. The brush country on the Rio Grande Plain of South Texas is dense with shrubs as tall as trees. This area provides good cover for many unusual birds. Among them is the chachalaca, a noisy, gregarious bird common at the Santa Ana Wildlife Refuge. Other colorful residents of brush country include the Altamira oriole and the brilliant green jay. The pyrrholoxia, or gray cardinal, is partial to mesquite thickets. It crushes the mesquite pods to feed on the seeds. Buffered by outlying islands, Texas has one of the most extensive seacoasts of any state. Padre Island is an ideal place to watch seabirds of all kinds. Gulls wheel and dive. A black skimmer shadows the waves for fish. A sandpiper pokes along the beach. Life on the margin of the sea is endlessly interesting. But then each habitat has its own special way of attracting us. From seashore to desert, from mountains to marshland, the grandeur of the Lone Star State is in the diversity of its wild creatures and wild places. Skyscrapers, parking lots, and shopping malls. Man-made America looks pretty much the same in Dallas as it does in Seattle or Baltimore. What makes each state unique is its climate and natural resources, its land forms, its wildlife. The beauty of a place is certainly what makes people want to live there, and usually what makes them come to visit. Texans are proud of their state, the oil rigs, the Alamo, the Astrodome. But taking pride in landmarks is not as important as taking pride in the land itself. Oil and gas will not last forever, but wildlife and unspoiled habitat can. Let's keep working to preserve wild Texas. I'm Marty Stauffer. Until next time, enjoy our wild America. I'm Marty Stauffer. It's easy to imagine the untamed wildness of the good old days as you listen to a lone coyote sing its ancient song. To some of us, this mournful cry kindles delight and inspiration. To others, dread and hatred. In Indian mythology, the coyote was revered for its cleverness and mystical song. Yet our modern society condemns the coyote for its predatory instinct to kill. Regardless of our mixed emotions, this wild canine has proven itself to be one of the most intelligent and successful of all animals on Earth. With efficient hunting skills, an opportunistic diet, strong social bonds, and an incredible capacity to learn, the coyote can quickly change habits and habitat. Even in the face of adversity, this animal thrives. The controversial coyote. As early pioneers carved a niche in the American landscape, most large predators lost their native habitats, with one exception, the coyote. Even in Yellowstone Park, the wolf is gone, and the coyote reigns as top dog in the ecosystem. Fortunately, Yellowstone escaped the pioneer's axe and remains a land of plenty. For the otter, there's always an abundance of food, and where there's food, this clever canine is not far away. Capable of outwitting almost any animal, The coyote is not above trying to steal the otter's fish. The otter delights in tempting the coyote with its catch of the day. The contest becomes more heated as a fellow opportunist arrives. Crow Indians called it the trickster. Like the trickster, the otter is also a creature of wit and mischief. But suddenly, the otter has more trouble than it bargained for. Snatching the fish from the otter is only one small victory. To win the battle, he must keep it from the other coyotes. Hungry ravens await the scraps. In the end, dominance, not chance, dictates which contender claims the prize. Watching this drama, I understand better how these wily predators have survived against all odds. Yet, intelligence does not always guarantee success. Flexibility in diet and habitat are two key factors in the struggle to survive. Animals that are quick to adapt, such as the raven and coyote, are much less vulnerable once the balance of nature is altered. It also helps to have friends in the right places. Coyotes often gaze skyward. Spiraling ravens can lead to carrion or easy prey. As keen as a coyote's sense of smell is, it's not nearly as keen as a raven's eyesight. In turn, the ravens get leftovers from the coyote's kill. Their relationship is symbiotic, meaning that each benefits from the other. Undaunted by defeat, the otter emerges from its steamy playground with yet another catch. This resourceful carnivore is no less a predator than the coyote. And predation may well be the strongest link in the chain of life. Late winter marks the beginning of the mating season. To signal the male that she is reproductively ready, the female paws and bites at his flanks, enticing him to mate. Despite her feminine wiles, something else has captured his interest. For now, he must keep a watchful eye on his food cache. A winter-killed deer whose scent is sure to draw a prowler. Coyotes are very territorial, and this large male has trespassed onto foreign turf. But in the winter, the ache of an empty stomach overrides respect for territorial boundaries. He proclaims his presence by urinating and continues to investigate. This pair is not about to surrender the carcass. A fallen deer is a rare commodity during a mild winter. Coyotes usually fare better in harsh weather when their normal diet of carrion is more abundant. The resident male stays close by the female. His possessiveness demonstrates the devotion coyotes show toward their mates. It looks as though the large intruder could easily intimidate the smaller male. Yet a formidable male will act submissive in alien territory. Because he's unfamiliar with the surroundings, his confidence is diminished, and he's therefore reluctant to fight. With ownership of the carcass established, the pair returns to the business of courtship. Months of intimate friendship prior to mating help strengthen the pair bond. This loyalty is rarely challenged by other coyotes. A male coyote has a reproductive cycle that coincides with the females. He's actually sterile for 8 months of the year. The pups are born in late April or May. By 3 weeks of age, they begin to investigate their surroundings with ever-growing curiosity and coordination. Evolution made the coyote a creature of our western plains, prairies, and deserts. By clearing forests and exterminating other large carnivores, modern civilization has favored the expansion of the coyote's range from California to New England and Costa Rica to Alaska. It now occupies the niches left vacant by man's elimination of wolves, bears, cougars, and wolverines. The protective mother constantly studies the breeze for any message of approaching danger. Already, some pups are seeking to assert dominance over their litter mates. These rough-and-tumble games will determine their social status as adults. A highly developed social structure is characteristic of most canines. Before the West was settled, the coyote frequently traveled in packs, like wolves. After centuries of persecution, the coyote found little safety in numbers and adopted a more solitary lifestyle, except in protected refuges and national parks where they occasionally still run in packs. Unlike the wolf, which depends on pack cooperation to bring down large prey, the coyote can pursue smaller prey quite effectively on its own. With this adaptability, it's no wonder the coyote has roamed this continent for 55 million years, while so many other animals have become extinct. Ancient records show that the first American natives held this song dog in high regard. Endowed with names such as God's Dog and Old Man Coyote, he played a supreme role in their religion. Perhaps early man felt a spiritual kinship with the coyote because he saw many of his own qualities in this wild dog. Coyotes have not fared as well with modern man. This female has much to teach her pups about a world filled with predator hatred. And learning always has a price. These pups learned the hardest way of all. They were killed in their den, victims of a controversial predator control program. Adults are trapped, poisoned, even shot from the air, all on the assumption that reducing their population will protect livestock. Coyotes are especially unpopular with sheep ranchers, who claim to lose large numbers of sheep to coyotes and other predators. As sheep ranching became less profitable over the years, sheepmen sought the help of the federal government to control coyote populations. Certainly the most deadly and the least specific method was the use of compound 1080 and strychnine, inserted into meatballs and scattered across public and private rangelands. Poison-baited explosive devices called coyote getters were substituted to target coyotes more effectively. Sheep carcasses are also injected with poison and left for scavengers. This method kills off carrion-eating coyotes, while blameworthy individuals continue to dine on live sheep. Indiscriminate poisoning kills many other species as well. The least humane of all the grim gadgets is the leg-hold trap. A coyote will chew off its own foot to escape. Unfortunately, the traps are not selective. Other animals, by the thousands, become victims. The stomach contents of this poisoned coyote included 19 mice and a kangaroo rat. As more and more coyotes are killed in an area, the rodent population explodes. A poisoning program for rodents is sure to follow. This creates more government jobs, but leaves a trail of poison that endangers wildlife and humans alike. A non-lethal, environmentally sound tradition which saves thousands of sheep in Europe is livestock guard dogs. They reduce predation and provide an alternative to lethal methods. These dogs may look sheepish, but coyotes stay away and return to the important task of keeping the rodent population in check. Alive and well, despite ruthless control efforts, the coyote remains the most controversial animal in the history of wildlife management. Most coyotes are more interested in their natural prey, a jackrabbit. The adults relay one another, using teamwork to exhaust or outwit this long-legged speedster. It's ironic that we tend to root for the underdog, to sympathize with the jackrabbit. As predators ourselves, we should be able to identify more with the coyotes. An immature goshawk joins in, but is not yet ready for such large prey. The coyotes seem to relish the chase, but catching their quarry is not just fun and games. To a predator, it's a matter of life and death. Many people believe the coyote's role is that of villain, but nature does not distinguish between villains and victims, only between the successful and the unsuccessful. In a world where survival of the fittest is supreme law, this arch predator will probably outlive most other creatures. In the words of a Crow Indian chief, when the antelope have gone and the buffalo wallows are empty, only the wail of the coyote will be heard. Since our continent was first settled, the coyote has competed with man as a predator of wild animals and livestock. Today, more than ever, the coyote is paying for this competition with its life. Yet the normal food habits of most coyotes are more beneficial than harmful. Their roles in controlling rodent populations and as scavengers are often overlooked in our relentless attempts to exterminate them. There is no doubt that we have the power to destroy our wildlife heritage. The question is, do we have the wisdom to preserve it? Are we clever enough to end this war so that both sides can prosper? Certainly we can find a way to make peace with the controversial coyote. I'm Marty Stauffer. Until next time, enjoy our wild America.